So if you missed the first lecture in class, we are going to talk about types of body tissues in this lecture. So what are the types of body tissues? We have 4 types of tissues. These are grouped by their shape, size, and what they do. So if you look at the picture, you can kind of see that the epithelial tissue looks different from the connective tissue, looks different from the muscle tissue, and different from the nervous system tissue. So if we first look at the epithelial tissue, we're looking at the skin. All right, that's the easiest example. If we think about our skin, covers our whole body, and there's also some linings on the inside of the body. The epithelial tissue in the skin is 2 layers that make a membrane, and some of these cells might secrete a fluid. For example, if you're sweating, moisture might come out, or oil. All right, so connective tissue. Connective tissue is going to be like adipose tissue. It kind of separates things, puts things into groups. We have cartilage that's a flexible tissue that's in parts of our body, in our ears, in our nose. Tendons are connective tissue that attach your skeletal, your muscles to your bones. And we have ligaments that are strong and flexible, and they connect 2 bones together at the joints. So that would be a connective tissue. And then we have our muscle tissue. Now this, if you look at it, the muscle tissue looks quite a bit different if we compare that to the epithelial tissue, right? So things are kind of going back and forth between these membranes. If we look back at the muscle tissue, it looks a lot more dense. It's red. And it looks like, you know, if you've ever pulled apart a chicken, like that's those striations that are in the chicken, all right? So the types of muscle tissue that we're going to talk about in this class are cardiac muscle. So that is your heart muscle. It is a striated muscle group, so it's looking like it has the lines through it. It is involuntary. That means we don't have control over that heart muscle. Our nervous system is actually controlling that, and the heart actually has its own pacemaker inside of it that controls the contraction of that muscle. So we don't have to do anything for it. Skeletal muscles we control. All right, they are voluntary. That means we control them. So for example, if I bend my arm up, my bicep is moving and I am controlling that. Right? It's attached to my skeleton. And then we also have smooth muscle. So this is non-striated muscle. It's a little bit less dense looking, and it's another muscle that's in our involuntary control. So what that means is this type of muscle is working regardless of whether we're awake or asleep. We can't make it work. We can't make it not work. It is muscle that's in our arteries and veins. It's in our digestive system so that our food gets moved along and passed through the digestive system. So that's the easiest one. If you think of smooth muscle, it's moving your food along to be digested. All right, and then the next one we have is a nervous tissue, and we get into the nervous system. We're going to discuss this tissue in more detail, but for now you just need to know that the nervous tissue is able to react to stimulation and also give an impulse. So it reacts and then it acts back. And we also have nervous system tissue also throughout our body, starting with our brain, going all the way down to our toes. The brain is considered nervous tissue. You have your spinal cord, which is nervous tissue. All the nerves coming out of the spinal cord, like I said, going all the way down to the end of your pinky toe. So you also have nervous system tissue going throughout your entire body. All right, and so those are the types of body tissues.